Madam Board Secretary, can we have roll call, please?
Trustee Boulna.
Here.
Trustee Henderson.
Here.
Trustee Hernandez.
Here.
Trustee Hoffman.
Here.
Trustee Eno.
Yes, here.
Trustee Vella. Absent. Trustee Vettis.
Here.
Student Trustee Bayham.
Present.
Thank you. Now, VP Eno will lead us in the flag salute today.
Please rise. Right hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with justice for all.
Thank you, VP Eno. Today, we would like to adjourn our meeting in memory of LA Trade Tech Professor Pette Bailey, who passed away on October 28th. Pette Bailey was a compassionate, caring professor who left an indelible mark on her students who loved her immensely. She often opened her computer lab as a supportive space for students facing financial and technological challenges, offering one-on-one assistance and a welcoming place to learn. In her CAOT field, Professor Bailey was a dedicated leader and an exemplary curriculum committee member, actively working across the LACCD organization to update courses and passionately defending CAOT classes whenever program viability discussions arose. Pette's colleagues for over 36 years of service share their deep admiration for her devotion and unwavering commitment. Pette never shied away from difficult conversations, always offering her insight and wisdom at town hall meetings between faculty and administration. Her tireless work to improve the business civic engagement department, including her roles as chair and later as lead faculty for the CAOT discipline, left a lasting impact. Pette will always be remembered for her resilience and bravery, particularly during challenging times. No matter the obstacles, Pette remained steadfast in her mission to ensure her students graduated and successfully entered the workforce. Among Pette's many accomplishments, her trips to the African continent, especially Ghana, were a true testament to her dedication to her work and her community. Professor Bailey will be deeply missed by her colleagues and students at LA Trade Tech, all of whom she served with fierce loyalty and love. We honor Pette's legacy and thank her for her over 36 years of dedicated service to the students and colleagues at LA Trade Tech College. On behalf of the entire LA Community College District community, we extend our deepest condolences to the Bailey family at this most difficult time. And if you'd please join me in a moment of silence for Pette Bailey. Thank you. Now, the First Amendment and the Brown Act guarantee a member of the public the right to criticize a public employee or public official in the performance of their duties. However, speakers are encouraged to focus their comments on issues relevant to the conduct of the public's business rather than on private or unrelated matters. Speakers are reminded that the Brown Act and First Amendment do not protect defamatory statements made, which may subject the speaker to personal liability. Do we have any additional from this list? Okay. So first up, speaking on item B1 is Mr. Rolando Cuevas.
Ms. Henderson, before I begin, what topic am I speaking on?
Chancellor's report.
Okay, but I got two issues, right?
Oh, G6 and Z8.
Can you remind me for the public? What are the, I don't have the agenda with me today. Cause I'm so excited about all the big victories yesterday.
So are we.
I know. Kelsey has a man,
G-
Kelsey has a man 80%. I saw that. Don't be shy, Kelsey.
Okay, so G6 is the chancellor's, actually the chancellor's report, and
The last two.
Z8 Oh, is the report to the board, for whistleblower complaints.
Yeah, and what was the second one? Can you read the second one out real quick?
That was it.
Oh, there's two. There's there's the one for you have a.
G6 is the chancellor's report,
Okay, but I want to speak
and
to
then
the,
you have Z8.
okay, could I skip on that one and go to the last two? The one where the, some kind of
Oh, you want to
accusation?
speak to 7 and 8
Yeah, can you, just,
and not on
yeah,
G6?
just repeat it real quick. What am I supposed to speak? on?
Okay, so G7 is the report to the board regarding a complaints of inappropriate communications between the chancellor and a former vice president. And Z8 is an assessment report regarding a whistleblower complaint.
Okay, well, if these reports are against the chancellor, why are we barely learning about them now? Why weren't these reports brought to the board prior? Anybody else would have been put on administrative leave for like 60 to 90 days, with lawyers investigating us for about $30,000 just to find nothing like they usually do, or waste time. I mean, this has to stop. I mean, if I'm a board of trustee, I would be really angry with the bureaucracy, keeping you guys in the blind, not telling you exactly what the heck's going on when you only have one employee. And those are some serious accusations and some serious liabilities. I know he's no longer here to defend himself, but I'm not the one to put it in the agenda now. It's interesting that they put it in the agenda now, because I'm sure that first one is that lawsuit from Howard Irvin versus Medina over that whole communication. Okay, that happened last year sometime. So to come back 8 months later, come on. Who's gonna be held responsible for this? Is Andiga here today? Oh, Andiga? What's your name? Hi, Jeff, welcome aboard. Okay, hopefully you don't cover up anything here. Okay, so thank God that Andiga's no longer here. I don't know where she's at, but thank God she's gone. Either way, I just think that the board should, huh? Oh, hi. Thank God you're back there. Okay. So anyhow, so getting back to what I was saying, hopefully Jeffrey Preto did a good job. I hope our new Chancellor Albert Roman is given a fair chance to succeed. I hope our President Monteperez is able to succeed at East LA College. And hopefully this board, now that the Chancellor is gone, will do business a new way, where the board is not kept in the blind to everything, because you're the one that has to be held accountable. Yes, you guys got 4 victories, but you ran against completely nobodies with over $1 million. But the day you get in a real race, that's when it's going to come back to haunt you. And you shouldn't be haunted by this, because you're not the ones committing it, but you're managing it, because you're overseeing it. So at some point, someone will hold you accountable. And that's why I come and complain all the time, because you blow the whistle, that's like calling the cops on yourself. There ain't no reason to blow the whistle at LACCD. They get you, they get the investigators, the investigator calls you and makes you feel like you're the criminal. That's why no one blows the whistle. It's a joke. So the board should do something about that. And those 2 reports that we have right now are really embarrassing, because I don't know why they're talking about it in public. I hope they open up the reports. Jeffrey, are you going to be giving that report? Are you? Okay. Hopefully he gives us the details, since it's going to be in public, because we could read the summary, but I'd love to know who that person was. Or I'm sure everybody will, because when there's reports on us, everybody knows about us, because there is no secret at LACCD. There's leaks. Lupin, thank you very much for blowing the whistle. Thank you. And Ms. Henderson, congratulations. And
Thank
board,
you.
best of luck.
Thank you, Mr. Cuevas. Next up, we have Myra Valres from Ed Trust West. It's, oh, okay. My bad. And then we have that's what it is. Okay. The Los Angeles Community College Board District recognizes that we occupy lands originally and still inhabited and cared for by the Tongva, the Tavium, Serrano, Quiche, and Chumash peoples. We honor and pay respect to their elders and descendants, past, present, and emerging as they continue their stewardship of these lands and waters. We acknowledge that settler colonization resulted in land seizure, disease, subjugation, slavery, relocation, broken promises, genocide, and multi-generational trauma. This acknowledgement demonstrates our responsibility and commitment to truth, healing, and reconciliation, and to elevating the stories, culture, and community of the original inhabitants of Los Angeles County. We are grateful to have the opportunity to live and work and to teach and educate on these ancestral lands. We are dedicated to growing and sustaining relationships with Native peoples and local tribal governments, including the Ferdinando Tataviam Band of Mission Indians, the Gabrielino Tongva Indians of California Tribal Council, the Gabrielino Tongva San Gabriel Band of Mission Indians, the Gabrielino Band of Mission Indians Quiche Nation, the San Manuel Band of Mission Indians, and the San Fernando Band of Mission Indians. Before we proceed, Interim Deputy Chancellor Burke, are there any changes to the agenda and order of business?
Yes, Madam President, we have two items that we're withdrawing from the agenda today. From the consent calendar, item I2, and from the human resources items FF3.
Thank you. Colleagues, may I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda and order of business with the requested amendments?
So moved.
Moved by Eno. Second by Henderson. Roll call, please.
Advisory vote?
Yes.
Trustee Boulna? Yes. Trustee Henderson?
Yes.
Trustee Hernandez?
Yes.
Trustee Hoffman?
Yes.
Trustee Eno?
Yes.
Trustee Vella? Trustee Vettis?
Yes.
Student Trustee Bayham? Sorry, I already called you. Never mind.
Thank you. May I have a motion and a second to approve the following 4 sets of minutes for the regular board meeting and closed session from October 9th, 2024, and 3 special meetings and closed sessions from August 7th, 2024, August 28th, 2024, and October 9th, 2024.
So moved.
Moved by Eno. Second by Hernandez. Roll call, please.
Student Trustee Bayham's advisory vote?
Yes.
Trustee Boulna? Trustee Henderson?
Yes.
Trustee Hernandez?
Yes.
Trustee Hoffman?
Yes.
Trustee Eno?
Yes.
Trustee Vella? Trustee Vettis?
Yes.
Thank you. Do any members of the resource table wish to be recognized at this time?
Good afternoon. So much to celebrate and too much to mourn. I want to take a moment to congratulate our newly re-elected board members, Kelsey Eno, Nichelle Henderson, Andra Hoffman, and David Vella. We should also celebrate the many tried and true leaders that we have re-elected to state government, like our own Mike Fong, and many of the new progressive lawmakers we'll be sending to Sacramento to work on behalf of our beloved city of Los Angeles. The passing of Proposition 2, due to the work of people like Harry Zayagos, will bring in $92 million to the district. These new progressive lawmakers will also join many progressive leaders, many of whom are increasingly strong, fierce women of color, ready to change the world. The choice of Dr. Albert J. Roman as interim chancellor, a proven leader from within the LACCD family, is something we celebrate. Dr. Roman has earned the trust of the majority of labor unions who advocated for him, not because he has always agreed with us, but because he gave us the respect and dignity that all workers deserve. We look forward to working with him to help make our district stronger. These things give me hope. You give me hope. I was hoping we'd be celebrating our first woman president. But last night's presidential election reminds me that too much of the rest of the nation, as the philosopher Kendrick Lamar states, they're not like us. We know that this means that many of our families, students, and communities will be under attack. The use of transgender folks in attack ads to scare middle America not just saddens, but terrifies our transgender and queer community. I too am for they, them, because they are us. The threat of mass deportations will loom over many of our students and their families' heads. As you know, if it were a nation upon itself, California would be the 4th richest nation on the planet. And we have the highest influx of immigrants from Latin America. This is not a coincidence. Latino immigration drives our economy. The threat to education from the administration is real, from this new administration is real. According to the Brookings Institute, Project 2025 seeks to dismantle the U.S. Department of Education, eliminate Head Start programs for young children in poverty, discontinue the Title I program that provides federal funding to schools serving low-income children, rescind federal civil rights protections for LGBTQIA students, reduce federal funding for students with disabilities, and remove guardrails designed to ensure adequately serve these children, and privatize the federal student loan program. We are in a fight for our lives, a battle for the future of the district and the community college system, a fight to ensure that the dreams and promises of Mendez versus Westminster and Brown versus Aborted Education are upheld and protected. The rights to access low-cost college degrees for our students and communities must be fought for. I know that many of us are tired of fighting, as those who came before us must have been exhausted. I've been fighting for my community since I was 13 years old. I was tired too. I say this because what happened last night reminded me that, as Angela Davis states, freedom is a constant struggle. We must have forgotten that it is this constant struggle that does not stop because we are tired and have done our part. The struggle continues. So must our fight. But to be effective, we have to stop fighting each other. We must put away our distrust of each other, extend grace, and work through our differences for the greater good, our students and our communities. The taxpayers of our great state fund every employee of the LACCD, and every employee of our district owes their livelihood to the people of Los Angeles. The time for fighting each other is over. Let's go to Sacramento together on behalf of our beloved community and fight for something greater than ourselves, the dreams and the rights of the most vulnerable in our communities to get the education they deserve. They deserve nothing less, and AFT will settle for nothing less. I invite all of you to join us on March 4th for the March in March as we fight for our students' futures. They are not like us. We're Angelenos, fighting for what is ours and protecting the rights of those who would be disregarded and dismissed. Together, the most progressive board in the history of the LACCD, our new interim chancellor, our district's administrative team, our labor partners, and our students are a formidable force. This is the best city on the planet, and we must defend it to our last breath. Because, as we say in the labor movement, when we fight,
We win.
when we fight,
We win.
when we fight,
We win. Anyone else?
Good afternoon. I'm Deborah Harrington, and I am the president for the Teamsters. And I just wanted to come up and congratulate Trustee Hoffman, Trustee Vella, Trustee Henderson, and Trustee Eno I look forward to the work together. And I also want to congratulate, and I have on a personal note, Dr. Roman, and welcome back, Monty, Dr. Perez. And I just wanted to take a minute to say that there's probably lots of things I could bring to your attention today, but more than anything else, I want to bring to attention and say to Dr. McKeever that we intend to join you, all our colleagues here at the table, to fight for what we believe in. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good afternoon. My name is Angela Echeverry, currently serving as the District Academic Senate President. My colleague Jeff Hernandez is also going to make a few remarks. First of all, I want to start out by congratulating the trustees for the reelection. And I think all of us are still processing what happened yesterday. It's going to be really, really tough for us to deal with the aftermath of this election. And I think we're all still, many of us are still kind of in grief, and it's very painful. We know that California in education, many of our students, many in our community are going to be under attack. And we stand with our colleagues in solidarity. We have to fight for our students. We have to fight for our educational programs. In the last few years, we have seen how legislative intrusion has disenfranchised many of our students, and I'm very concerned that this is only going to accelerate in the years to come. I also want to congratulate Dr. Albert Roman for coming on board, hopefully, as our interim chancellor. We've had a chance to work with him as Vice Chancellor of Human Resources, and we really look forward to working with him in the future and using his expertise, I think, to address some of the concerns we have regarding human resources here in this district. I also want to congratulate President Monte Perez. He's here. Okay. Monte and I were at a mission for many years. And so I want to wish him the best as he takes the helm at East LA College. Also, I want to thank you, President Henderson, for your remarks about Pette Bailey from Trade Tech College. Paulette was a member of the District Academic Senate for many years, and we mourn her passing profoundly. we're going to have to excuse ourselves today. We're going to leave early because we will be driving to Visalia for the ASCCC plenary session. So if we leave, it's not because we don't want to stick around. We have to get on the road before traffic hits. But we will be meeting the State Academic Senate. I'm sure we'll have a lot of discussions about what this new political landscape means for our system. I do want to convey that there's a lot of frustration right now with the implementation of Common Course Numbering, or AB 1111, especially in regards to articulation agreements. And so there are a lot of concerns about what this is going to mean for our students. Also, I think as far as the election is concerned, I do have concerns. I want to express concerns about some of our other programs that may be under attack or initiatives, in particular in language instruction. So I know that that is an area where we have had a lot of growth, and I just hope that we are, we are able to support the language instruction programs as we move forward. Finally, I do want to say that we have received language for an administrative procedure on Title IX investigations, and we will be considering a recommendation to add language on consensual relations into that procedure. So I hope that the board does consider that, especially given what happened, what we saw from Harbor College in September. With that, I want to thank you for your time, and I'm going to allow my colleague Jeff Hernandez to say a few words.
And I want to echo the word of congratulations to our trustees. And I also want to extend really appreciation, big thank you for what will inevitably be the selection of Berto Roman as the interim chancellor. I had the pleasure of working with Albert as the ELAC Academic Senate when he arrived as interim in 2020, in the summer of 2020, and I'd like to take you back to that period, right? It was a example of many examples, right, where the board, the chancellor, really stepped forward in adopting a framework for racial equity and social justice. And it was an example of an action was taking place in many places. At my own college, our academic senate put out a call for action, against racism and for social justice as well. And so we actually identified a number of things. It was pie in the sky, but we wanted to have an aspirational a direction. And lo and behold, here comes interim college president, Albert, and he's like, "This is great. Let's go for it." And he really ramps up. What any of us expected at a time where it was really sorely needed. And so I want to again, big appreciation, but also we're at another inflection point, right? Where we really do need to have that kind of leadership, that kind of strength of leadership, in all parts, obviously in our district, but certainly here at the top. I think it's probably the case that we will be served well by reaffirming our foundational principles in that regard, particularly for our students who will be under attack. Most obviously undocumented students, LGBTQ students. It's personal for us. And I think it's important that we, recognize how valuable of a role we've played over the years and how it's those times count. And actually, I just wanted to add that I also extend appreciation for what will inevitably be the selection of interim college president, Monteperez. I think he is definitely the right person to continue the progress in these areas that I've just been mentioning. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Thank you so much. I'm Andrea Edwards, the president of AFT 1521A. I would like to say congratulations to President Henderson, to Trustee Eno, to Trustee Vela, to Trustee Hoffman. It is a long and arduous process to really put yourself out there to smile and show up and be present. So congratulations and condolences is what they gave me, and I'm going to give that back to you. But thank you for the hard work, because serving in these positions, oftentimes you get a lot of the critiques and criticism, but no one really knows the selflessness it takes to really put yourself in these positions to advocate and ensure our community is protected as a whole. I'd like to also say congratulations to our interim chancellor. And I know at this point, you're probably turning red back there. I hate when people keep talking about me. I'm like, that's enough. But I want to say thank you, because like many other people, it was so easy to advocate and to push for a great chancellor to step in this position. Working at the East LA College, when I had those issues, we mitigated them at the source. There was no need for costly arbitrations. And it was a beautiful thing to say, hey, for example, the California election code that just went by that allowed us to execute our democratic right to vote. A lot of times we get misinformation, and my classified were told they could not execute that democratic right. I'm not happy with the results, but at the same time, this is democracy. So we stand and we will continue to push for organizing and power to offset some of the policies that we don't agree and the attacks that are to come. But I do want to say again, Dr. Rahman was a quick phone call away to ensure our members could vote. And this seems to be a thing that happens every year. And I'm just kind of curious, as it's a fundamental right that many have died and fought for, to have that ability to vote. And so I do thank you for always being accessible, talking, getting to the source of the issue, and ensuring that we can actually execute our democratic right. So congratulations, and I'm excited to work with you. It's a pleasure to have that open relationship where I can make that call. So thank you, Dr. Rahman, for that. I would like to say again, and keeping it short, it's a hard day. I had anxiety all night. I had to take some melatonin. But I will say this. I remember when the last elections happened and the attack on our undocumented students. I had colleagues that were working at East LA College that were afraid if they were able to keep their job. And I remember watching that fear as it trickled through our undocumented students in the Dream Resource who were hiding and afraid to even come into that room. And I don't think people understand the chilling scenario of what this really means to people and their livelihoods and their ability just to have the American dream. We all came from somewhere, so let's be clear. And so I stand with my union brothers and sisters ready to fight those collective issues that we will see rise. But speaking again back to our classified, the main issue that I would love to kind of continue to present, and I am talking to and establishing relationships with the other presidents to kind of mitigate some of these issues, are staffing issues. And so what we will see is, though, we know that we're on a deficit. However, when we're not staffing these departments, or when you're staffing it and moving people and they're not being properly updated and staffed, and we can't find where our members are, it's a problem. When we're using other positions to supplant those positions and they're not hiring classified and thinking that that's the best solution to offset some of the deficits, that's a problem. And one thing about a researcher is I'm going to find the data before I ever speak to it and bring it to you, because I'm going to try to go that route of making sure we can mitigate it at the campus sites. But I want to make you aware that it is a staffing issue. People are leaving on mental exertion. People are tired and they're told to do the best you can, all the while watching staff fall or leave on mental health leave. That is a problem. And so I thank you for your time, and I look forward to working with our local leaders over my union brothers and sisters to kind of bring some more issues to your attention if need be. So thank you so much for the time.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good afternoon, Board of Trustees and Dr. Burks. My name is Chrisan Ozan, representing SEA Local 99. On behalf of Local 99, we want to say congratulations, Board Member Henderson, Eno, Hoffman, and Vela on winning your seats on this board for another term. Also, we want to congratulate Dr. Rahman for being our next interim chancellor for the district, and we look forward to working with all of you. But I would like to say, with all due respect, you weren't randomly chosen for those seats. You were selected because we, as faculty, students, staff, and the stakeholders, believe in you. We believe as we move forward to this new chapter that this board will continue to uphold the core values and missions of this institution and move this district in the right direction so we can continue to thrive as an institution. With the challenges this district has faced, we can't afford to continue to go backwards. We ask when concerns are brought to this board's attention, don't just ignore us. What we need from this board is for you to listen to our concerns, and we need action. Don't let our concerns go from one ear out the other. We need accountability. We need a response or feedback as to how concerns are going to be addressed and resolved, and we're going to hold you to that. I understand the politics that goes on in this district. However, I'm asking for once to put the politics aside and just do what's right for this district and for the constituencies that supported you to have those seats. We have faith that you would do what's promised by ensuring that the district remain financially sustainable, academically competitive, and comply with all applicable laws related to student rights and employee rights. There are some concerns I want to bring to your attention that have an impact on our members. First, I want to express my sincere condolences to the families of the victims that lost their lives on October 15, 2024 at Santa Monica College due to workplace violence. According to Santa Monica College, although Santa Monica College is not part of our district, it's still considered one of our sister community colleges outside this district. I don't know what led to this senseless shooting. I've heard different stories as to why this occurred. I don't know what the cause of this, but I do know whether it was, management or the employee at fault. At the end of the day, employees lost their lives and their families are the ones that suffering and grieving for their loved ones. And there may have been some signs indicating that there were an issue in the workplace between the two employees before it got to that point. I don't know. My point is, constantly concerns are being brought to my attention by the members regarding being harassed, bullied, and approached unprofessionally by their supervisor. Often it's the same supervisors creating the problems that's making the workplace a toxic work environment for our members. such as over at Trade Tech and West LA College. At Trade Tech, our members have been complaining about the same supervisor in maintenance and operations for a long time, and this supervisor is allowed to continue to antagonize and mistreat our members, and nothing's being done to stop this. Also, it was brought to my attention that the same supervisor at Trade was repeatedly reported wearing gang-affiliated attire on campus. Who does that? This is supposed to be someone that's representing the district in a leadership capacity. Not only is that eliciting gang violence on campus, but what if someone was offended by their attire? That could potentially have started a gang war on campus. Our members were also offended because this was very unprofessional. The supervisors are supposed to be held at a much higher standard, especially when it comes to professionalism in the workplace and dealing with the employees. Our members have filed grievances, they have filed complaints. We have brought these issues to HR, employee and employer relation, time after time, and we haven't seen any accountability for their actions. But if our members behave the same way, the district is ready to suspend or terminate us, and that's a double standard. And I want to say to my sister union, SEIU 721, Bruce Hicks, just like we brought these concerns with management, supervisor, and maintenance and operations to HR, these concerns have also been brought to your attention on numerous of times. And as a president for SEIU, there should be accountability in your role as a president for SEIU 721. We're supposed to be fighting for the same cause, not fighting against each other. And I'm constantly bringing this to the board that we need some type of anti-bullying harassment policy in place where all employees are held accountable for creating a toxic work environment, harassing and bullying employees in the workplace, and they need to have some serious consequences that's imposed. Don't wait for something tragic to happen or a tragic incident to happen like it did in Santa Monica College. Another concern I would like to bring up is dealing with our members being accommodated when they're on workers' comp. The district is supposed to accommodate you when, while you're on workers' comp, while you're going through your disability, but there's a problem. There's a discrepancy that our members are facing. Some employees are being accommodated for their workers' comp restrictions, while other employees are outright being told there's no accommodation that is acceptable. And that is the discrepancy. So with workers' comp, employees should be able to be accommodated to the best of their job ability. But if it's impossible, then we understand. But there are occasions where people have been accommodated and others haven't, and we're in similar situations, and that is a problem. We are asking for consistency. We want everyone to have the same opportunity. And when you have a disability and must come back to work, we want to be given the same equal opportunity of being accommodated and not to be shut down and immediately told that you can't work. And that's a problem. That's a problem because there is no consistency. There needs to be more justification, more transparency, where it's clear when someone should be accommodated and someone couldn't be accommodated. Everyone should have a chance to work if they need to. And lastly, I just want to thank all my military veterans for your service. And the holidays are approaching, so I just want to wish everyone a happy holiday. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Congratulations, Trustee Hoffman, Trustee Bella, President Henderson, and congratulations. Glad for you.
Thank
Look
you.
forward to working with you at SEIU 721 to continue to help solve some of the issues that are the ills of the district, and look forward to working with everybody on the board. Dr. Rahman, I ran into him in the lobby. I know he's probably tired of hearing his name, but I'm glad that you are the intern. Really appreciate it. I've worked with you, our unit, over the years, solved some very complex issues. And one of the things that I remember, we don't always agree to anything, okay? But we come up with a solution to some very complex problems. I found him to be very fair and ethical in his dealings with our unit. Like I said, you win some, you lose some, but we fight. So congratulations. Also, welcome back, Monte Perez, President Perez, Dr. Perez. Good. I saw him in the lobby. Very happy to see him. So what are you doing here? You're retired, and he's bringing back some vision and leadership to the district. So we really appreciative of that. And I'm exhausted. I was talking to President Andrea, and I'm just like, I was up to 2 o'clock in the morning watching the elections. I just feel so drained and tired, but we're going to continue to fight on for our students, because at the end of the day, that's what we're here for. We're here for the students. We're here for the students to get education. We're here to support our employees, our unit members in their effort to provide services for our students. So we're going to continue to fight for them. And I'd like to take a moment of silence. Well, first of all, to the members, I want to talk about the SMC, Custodial Operations Manager Supervisor, who fatally lost her life, Felicia Hudson. I'd like to give her a moment of silence, if you will, with me. Thank you. SEIU 721 speaks out against workplace violence, just like all of us here. When the employees of the district go to work, we expect them to be able to come home to their family. I don't care what the issue is at work. It should not end where someone is losing their life for doing their job or having a disagreement about something that substantially is not worth their life. So we've had a lot of members reach out to us about issues and concerns that they have on their campus. The first thing that we tell them, that we've been telling them, is, hey, you have to document issues as they arise and bring them up to your leadership and reach out to us, because I don't pretend to know the issues that surrounded that person, Felicia Hudson, losing her life. Hits near to us. We represent operations manager, and I will say this once again, I don't care what the issue is. It should not end in no one's life. When you leave your house in the morning, you expect to come home, do your work, and meet your family, or whatever it is you do. So whatever efforts that we have to partake, sensitivity training, whatever it is, we need to address them. Unfortunately, this has happened in Santa Monica's college twice, and it's very heartbreaking. All of our colleagues that are in here, we're dedicated to student success, and we come here to give our all for student success, for students to develop and move on. I'm a product of West LA College graduating, and a lot of educational endeavors have happened through the Los Angeles Community College District. So I just compel the board and executive leadership of the district to really take steps for training, identifying issues that may come up at work so we can address those. Like I said, I'm talking to our membership who are watching online. If you're noticing some behavior, some things that you're not comfortable with, or you seeing a person you supervise, because we supervise people, and we're the ones who have to have these uncomfortable conversations with people as it relates to doing jobs and services. If you having those issues, you need to document those. You need to talk to your leadership. You need to reach out to your leadership, SEIU 721, and we will help you take action to protect your safety in the workplace. Thank you.
Thank you. Is that it from the resource table? So now we'll have our reports from standing committees. VP Hernandez, could you please summarize the proceedings from the FEMPOP committee that you chaired on behalf of Trustee Vela, and a summary for your basic needs ad hoc?
Start with basic needs. We had our ad hoc basic needs committee on October 11th at Southwest College. I want to thank Dr. Culpepper for hosting us. for those that are interested in the district's ability to deliver basic needs, I really suggest getting to know the Gateways program at LA Southwest College. We were lucky to have students Darlene Moore and Brittany Wilson testify about their experience. It was incredibly powerful to hear just the work that folks over at Gateways and Southwest are doing to really provide basic needs, to provide housing, to provide wraparound support for our students so that they can succeed. It was great. We also continue to talk about an update for the district's process for receiving and responding to unsolicited housing proposals. If you're unfamiliar with that process, definitely I would reach out to Dr. Sata, who gave that presentation. We're excited to have that process in place. And then we also had an update from Dr. Albo Lopez around our pilot housing program, a rubric for mid-contract review, and really a discussion around sustainability of that program and how it marries into some of our other efforts around housing. Can you come back to me on FinPoc? I just got it. Can you come back to me on FinPoc?
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you for that. Next up, we have student trustee. If you could summarize the proceedings of the Student Affairs Committee.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I guess I'm the only one that's happy today. Anyway, we had an opportunity to submit and discuss the uniformity proposal for all 9 of the campuses to have same extended hours and services provided at all of the medical facilities. We're having a leadership summit this Friday to go over like parliamentary processes and other things for the student leadership. And then I'm often the only student in this room. And today, happily, I'm not. We have one of our SAC members here, Ivana. She's the ASO president for West. So I'm so thankful for your guidance and leadership. And a few of our SAC members were able to meet for a listen and learn with Hornstock Strategies consulting firm for housing strategies. Yesterday, we were able to get some feedback in regards to goals and what was important to students in the comprehensive packages that we will want considered for the student housing, as far as like mental health resources, financial literacy resources, and parenting classes and things like that for each student that ends up staying at the housing, and when and if it's actually built. And we also decided that we wanted to just continue to drive home that this needs to be expedited because students today are facing houselessness. So we've been having a lot of meetings, and this has been going on and on and on. And meetings are nice, but there are students that are actually experiencing houselessness today. So if we could get the ball rolling on that, that would be great. Thank you.
Thank you. And so I will summarize the proceedings of the Institutional Effectiveness and Student Success Committee. We met on October 16th, and the board approved the repatriation of some artifacts that were discovered by LA Pierce College faculty and students from the Tataviam people. So it was a process, but it's wonderful that they were uncovered, but now they're going back to their rightful owners. And we received 2 informatives. One was the evaluation of the 2018 through 2023 district strategic plan. And I think we postponed the enrollment update. I think we tabled it. But the district strategic plan, I want to thank Mr. Pearl and Dr. Albo Lopez. It was a lot of information, but I think what we need to do with that information is just cut it down into bite-sized pieces to really be able to unpack it. So I want to thank them for that information. And that ends my report on ISF.
We had a FinPoc meeting on October 16th, similar to the ad hoc Committee on Basic Needs. We had a presentation on the procedure on unsolicited housing proposals. We also had a housing strategy status update from our facilities staff as well as our outside consultant. I just really want to commend our staff and all those working on it. It was really thorough. The process of soliciting feedback from all stakeholders is really exciting to me. So that's great. And then we also had a presentation on innovation at LACCD, the transformation of facilities management, as well as our athletic fields and facilities initiative.
Thank you for that. Now, colleagues, may I have a motion and a second on item E2, which is board travel authorizations? Henderson will move.
Second.
Eno second. Roll call, please.
Student trustee Bayham's advisory vote. Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Thank you. Trustee Boulna, trustee Henderson,
Yes.
trustee Hernandez,
Yes.
trustee Hoffman,
Yes.
trustee Eno,
Yes.
trustee Vella, trustee Vettis.
Thank you, colleagues. Now, may I have a motion and a second on item F1, which is the National Native American Heritage Month and Indigenous Peoples Month resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Eno, second by Hernandez. Roll call, please.
Student trustee Bayham's advisory vote.
Yes.
Trustee Boulna.
Yes.
Trustee Henderson,
Yes.
trustee Hernandez,
Yes.
trustee Hoffman,
Yes.
trustee Eno,
Yes.
trustee Vella,
Yes.
trustee Vettis.
Yes.
Thank you. Now, colleagues, may I have a motion and a second on item F2, which is Veterans Day, National Veterans and Military Families Month and National Veterans Awareness Week?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Eno, second by Hernandez. Roll call, please.
Student trustee Bayham's advisory vote.
Yes.
Trustee Boulna,
Yes.
trustee Hernandez, trustee Henderson,
Yes.
trustee Hoffman,
Yes.
trustee Eno,
Yes.
trustee Vella,
Yes.
trustee Vettis.
Yes.
Thank you. Now, may I have a motion and a second on item F3?
So moved.
Moved by Eno, second by Hernandez. Roll call, please.
Student trustee Bayham's advisory vote.
Yes.
Trustee Boulna.
Yes.
Trustee Henderson,
Yes.
trustee Hernandez,
Yes.
trustee Hoffman,
Yes.
trustee Eno,
Yes.
trustee Vella,
Yes.
trustee Vettis.
Thank you, colleagues. May I have a motion and a second on item F4?
So moved.
Moved by Eno,
Second.
second by Hernandez. Roll call, please.
Student trustee Bayham's advisory vote.
Yes.
Trustee Boulna.
Yes.
Trustee Henderson,
Yes.
trustee Hernandez,
Yes.
trustee Hoffman, trustee Eno,
Yes.
trustee Vella, trustee Vettis.
Yes.
Thank you, colleagues. Now I will turn to Interim Deputy Chancellor Burke for the Chancellor's report.
So it'll be a brief report today, just to update you on enrollment. So if we could have the next slide. If you remember last month, I told you enrollment looked flat, but we were on the, sort of the precipice of the second 8-week classes. So we have some good news to report here. Our headcount is up by 4% and our enrollments are up by 7%. And we believe that this is relatively bot free. So it was up a little higher than that. We dug into some of the issues and found some bots, but have removed the majority of them. And we're still looking at some other issues that have arisen related to the bot enrollment. So this is a good sign that the enrollment is up. And of course, as we anticipated, the bots and the actors that create the bots have found ways around the doors that we close. They seem to be able to always open a window. So this is an ongoing process. And if we could have the next slide, you'll see that our enrollment in the under 20 through age 34 is up in each category. And then some of the downward trends are in the older adult categories, which is probably also related to the bots. The one thing that you may notice is the drop in first-time students, which is a 10% drop, but we think that is also bot related. So may not be as concerning, but we will continue to dig into that. I would also point out to you the non-credit headcount and enrollment. And while non-credit is positive attendance, and so this is preliminary, it is good to see that we have a 10% increase in both headcount and enrollment. And that's the current report.
Thank you so much. So next up for item H, we now have for our review the combined consent calendar for items I1 through V12. These items include consent calendars for Human Resources, Personnel Commission, Academic Affairs, and Student Services, Budget, Finance, Business, and Facilities. May I have a motion and a second to adopt the combined consent calendar for items I1 through V12 with the exception of I2?
So moved.
Moved by Eno. Second by Henderson. Roll call, please.
Student trustee Bayham's advisory vote,
Yes.
trustee Boulna.
Yes.
Trustee Henderson,
Yes.
trustee Hernandez,
Abstain.
trustee Hoffman,
Yes.
trustee Eno,
Yes.
trustee Vella, trustee Vettis.
Thank you. For now, business items, may I have a motion and a second to adopt business items W1 through W20?
So moved.
Moved by Eno. Second by Henderson. Roll call, please.
Student trustee Bayham's advisory vote,
Yes.
trustee Boulna. Trustee Hernandez,
Abstain.
trustee Henderson,
Yes.
trustee Hoffman,
Yes.
trustee Eno,
Yes.
trustee Vella,
Yes.
trustee Vettis.
Yes. Trustee Henderson, can I ask one question here?
Sure.
In each and every single time we run across human names associated with our tribe, do we have to do a convenience, or could we just do a standing agreement overall, since we're going to have another 10 years worth of at least construction projects and activities? It just seems to make sense to have just a standard process negotiated and worked out. And if that is possible, then I'd like to see if our general counsel's office could work on something like that, just so we don't have to go through each and every single time, and then we can deal with human remains carefully and quickly, and or other artifacts that comes to be.
Thank you, trustee Bettis. I think that we can work on that. We also have to comply with both federal law and state law. And there are times when there are, depending on the remains or the artifacts, there are certain processes that we're going to have to do and comply. I'm very happy that we complied at this particular time, and we will continue to follow those laws. But I think it's a very good suggestion if in fact we can have some procedures and policies in place. But we do have to make room for, there may be circumstances where federal law or state law may require something different depending on what we find, where we find it, and the folks that are affected by it. But I think it's a very good idea to have that in place and have that conversation.
Thank you. And I do want to note that item W8 is the first part of the process for that reparation of artifacts found by the Pierce College folks.
Thank you, President Henderson. And that is one where we did follow federal law as well. So I think it's a very good idea to make sure that we will encounter this again, have some processes in place, and then to make sure that when we are following it, that we are also confirming it so that we can be compliant with federal law, and or if we have to have any type of settlement depending on the situation.
May I ask a question as well?
Yes.
On item W14, I literally just noticed this. I'm a little confused because last month we approved the bench for the government affairs consulting firms. So can someone explain what is this now? Is this we'll bring it back in front of the board if we plan on issuing contracts? Like, I'm confused. What happened between last month and this month? Last month we approved the bench, but this month it looks like they're back. And I don't know if this means we're approving these two firms. Can I get an explanation from somebody? Okay.
Last month, you approved the bench, but not the contracts. So these are the contracts for two of the people that
the legislative office want contracts with, so Mercury Affairs and Three Gens Consulting.
What do you mean by contract? So there were like 6 or 8 firms on the bench. So just what do you mean by contracts? Like are we entering into 12-month contracts with these?
With
two
these two,
firms?
yes, with these two.
What happens to the rest of the firms on the bench? Like how do we, I thought
There's-
it was going to be on an as needed basis. If we needed to contract with a firm, we would use them for a month or two. So I wasn't aware that we were, I mean, I just don't know what this is. Maybe one of my colleagues knows better than me.
How would we know?
Is Maria online? I'm not sure if she's here, but I know last month the direction was that we did not want to approve contracts for all of the vendors that were there. And so we came back with just the 2. I think the concern was the amount of money. And so we came back with just approving these 2 for the 1-year period.
Maria has her
Why
hand
didn't we just
raised.
do that in the first place? I don't understand why we created a bench and then came straight right back, because I don't think anything's happened in the last month that would have changed. And so I know with the board said, we want these to come to us before you enter into a contract. But it would be great if we had a little more explanation. That's all.
So Ms. Veloz is online. Okay.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna approve Santa Maria Group too. They were on the bench. What happened to them?
Yes, I'm
Coming in.
here. If you
Maria?
haven't, yes. You
can't
approve
hear
the
you.
bench. Normally, normally when you approve a bench, we don't come back with the contracts, but you asked me to come back with, I promised you at the last month's meeting, to come back with the contracts that we selected. And these are the 2 contracts that were selected.
But you
That
had- you
that
had
doesn't
something on
mean
microphone.
that we wouldn't approve at a later point, 1 or more firms as needed. They are on the bench. However, these are the 2 contracts that we felt that we needed at this time.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna approve them if you don't bring all the bench contracts. So you're excluding people from the bench.
No, they're still on the bench.
Then why aren't we approving their stuff?
At this moment in time, these are the 2 contracts we felt that we needed. I got the impression that you wanted to keep the costs down.
No, you're trying to exclude people is what you're doing. So bring it back with Santa Maria, all right? Thanks.
Any other comments regarding this?
I just want to make one last comment just to clarify. So all of the vendors that were here on last month's agenda were approved. They are on the bench. And these are the 2 that the legislative office requested to contract with to come back to the board.
That's fine, but
Okay.
it's our decision. So
Right. I just want to
I'm
be
not
clear
approving
that they are on the bench.
it. Okay,
Okay.
but we're not approving.
I just,
Yeah, we
Can I
already
be-
approved them. This is just.
So Mr. Prieto, because now there's a question
Yeah,
on
can
an
we just
item that
table it?
we've already, that we've approved. What do we do if a trustee wants to now remove that?
so again, I think that they have provided the explanation, and it's my understanding that there is at least a request to amend the motion to pull this particular item, if in fact there is. But I do just want to, and again, I completely understand Trustee Vela's question. There is a bench, this is done a little bit differently. This is to approve this particular contract, so you can move forward with these terms. No one's being excluded. We can, I will defer to the business office whether or not.
Jeff, I know what a bench is. The
Yeah.
issue here
Yeah.
is that they're excluding one of the people on the bench.
Yep.
So, to me, it seems it's not the choice of Maria to see who we're gonna use. Okay, that's the chair of the Public Affairs Committee, who could be anyone after Kelsey hopefully becomes president. And so that Public Affairs chair then works with Maria to see who we think would be more appropriate out of that bench. It's not just Maria's and staff's choice. That's the issue here. I'm tired of you guys trying to bring stuff, shove it down our throat. Okay, so let's just bring everyone back, have everyone have the same equity issue here with this firm, with this bench, because that's not what's going on right now, right? And Maria needs to know that it's not just her sole decision or the interim chancellor. The board of trustees also are part of the public affairs committee. We work together.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes, you know, one firm is better for Metro, the other one for whatever. But this, to me, signifies to the bench that only two of them are going to be getting work. And that's not, you know, it shouldn't be like that. We should, if we're going to go for a bench, then we go for the whole bench. I understand what you're saying. You want to start working right away and give these people the work. But to me, it's like we already approved a bench. So if I don't see all the members of the bench having a contract, so you're telling me if, for example, next month, the public affairs chair wants to lobby or we want to work with someone in Sacramento, they're not going to be able to work with Maria to pick from the bench because they're currently, the way it seems, and by the way, you know, it says here 1-year option to renew for a maximum of 5 years. So again, we went through this again. I don't understand how now 5 years. I thought it was going to be 3, a maximum of 3, but whatever. I mean, I just think we need to table it, President Henderson, and talk about it and just bring it back because I mean, we're going to go through this all the time.
So I think and I think President Henderson to respond, and I completely understand Trustee Vela's question. The matter has been approved. We can ask for a friendly amendment, and I would look to, you know, Trustee Vela or Hoffman, whether they would ask that this particular item be pulled and tabled and brought back. But we would need to go on the record that there is a request to make a change.
So we need a friendly amendment to pull this item.
And to get a vote, and then we can pull this particular item, if in fact that is the will of the board, since the board has approved this particular matter.
Okay.
Can I just make one comment? I mean, I think my question was, I thought having a bench is a great idea, but the way I read this is if we approve this today, we're literally on the hook for a monthly retainer to both of these firms, whether or not they're doing the actual work, we're retaining them. So I guess to Trustee Vela's point, why have a bench if the intent was just to award 2 contracts? So I just wanted a little bit of an explanation, and I'm honestly just confused and asking for an explanation. So perhaps it would be best to make a friendly amendment to pull the item so that we can get a little more information, which is what I asked for in the last board meeting.
And I completely understand, and I think so we would need somebody to move to table the particular matter. It would be a vote, and then we can get the information to you, bring it back at the next meeting.
Okay.
But that is the will of the board.
I'm happy to move to table the matter until we get more information for the next meeting. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Can I ask a question on process? Because I'm lost the thought process here and want to be clear because so what we did last meeting was we approved the bench without financials. So we approved, so essentially it's a qualified group of firms. Today, there's a recommendation for 2 forward to be quote unquote leads. We have the others if necessary. I know I'm hearing Trustee Vela asking for one particular firm. I'm not usually, I guess I'm trying to rectify that with the process that we usually get a recommendation from staff to come forward that we're asked to approve. Now, I understand the bench concept is kind of you get like pick and pull based on instances. So I'm sort of hearing the concerns there of wanting to get to issues. But it is like, I honestly, we approved it last month. I don't remember off the top of my head. I have to go back and dig to see what the other ones are. But I didn't understand that our process is to grab one and say, I want this one on the bench. I think there needs to be something in place there. If it's, I know if it's a recommendation of the committee chair, I don't know where we don't do that process for almost anything else we do. I think we generally are working on a staff recommendation coming forward that we're vetting, that we're asking questions about, that we're ensuring has followed the process. This one's a human element, so I'm going to be open-minded to the sort of space that exists here in terms of the lobbying perspective, and especially because it involves some of us personally partaking in a lobby effort. But if that's the case, I don't know all the firms that are listed. And if it's a question of, sort of throwing out a name because it's comfortable, then how do we get to a better place that we get to recognize the depth of the firms, not just necessarily one because we knew them from the past or one because it's on the agenda today, but how do we sort of get to a cleaner, simpler process? I didn't participate in interviews. I mean, asked to consider voting and supporting a motion that brings, another firm back. And then we have 2 additional ones that are here. But how am I supposed to rectify all those things together? And with the motion that's now on the floor, how does that work?
No, I think, and again, I apologize not necessarily being involved in the process, but I think Trustee Bettis is right, as well as Trustee Vella and Hoffman about the process. You do approve a bench. These are moving forward contracts that are, that these are folks on the bench. It does not preclude in the next month having another firm come forward in this same particular manner. Trustee Veris's point, I'm not entirely sure how the conversation takes place relative, as Trustee Vella has mentioned, who's moving forward in this particular process.
So, Mr. Prince, so
Yeah.
sorry to, and
No, you are
So
completely fine, Madam
we
President.
have a motion and a second on the floor to move this item. I think a discussion around the process is for a different time, not in this moment. So out of respect for the colleagues that have moved this, thank you. Can we
So
just?
we have 2 motions on the floor?
No, we have a motion to remove this item from this vote, and there was a second to do that. So now we can have a vote because we can come back at a later time and have a discussion around process.
Before we vote, I just want to mention something for the record, because I do want this in the record, that we really, in conjunction with this, should come up with a budget for our public affairs and government relations activities, because part of it, Mr. Prado, and I know you haven't been here, is that the cost is much higher than the previous cost for what we were spending on local lobbying efforts. So I would like that included in when we bring this back, can we come back with a budget for the department and how much we're planning on spending in the next year?
Yeah. 'Cause it
President
was from a
Henderson?
We approved the not to exceed, and now this is who we're gonna work with, and this is how much they're gonna get paid. So the bench that we approved was the not to exceed
I just didn't know.
dollar amount, and we were told that, from that bench, we would utilize, depending on the firms and so on and so forth, and that we wouldn't spend over a certain dollar
Yeah.
amount. So this one is looking a lot more like, okay, out of all those people we approved, we're gonna probably only use these 2, and now we're gonna guarantee them a retainer, which is very typical, and that's fine too. But that's not what the board was told, so, I
So that'll
just-
be part of the discussion.
Right.
That's great. Thank
So can that'll be the directive for bringing that back?
I think that could be the direct. I have a feeling based on this conversation, folks, we'll be having a subsequent conversation that will take all of this into
Okay, and
account.
before you go, student trustee?
Yes, I just have a simple to the point question. What does the delay cost us? So with tabling it till next month, what does that cost us in the interim, like in that time? If we don't approve it, what does it cost us?
I don't know that there's any delay because they haven't been authorized to do the work.
Okay.
There's just a delay in getting the work done, but I assume that there will be a fulsome conversation between now and the next meeting, and then this will be agendized in that particular manner. As President Henderson said, I think there will be a subsequent conversation on process.
Thank you. Okay, so now we have a motion and a second to remove item W14. Roll call, please.
Student trustee Bayham's advisory vote?
Yes.
Trustee Boulna?
Yes.
Trustee Henderson?
Yes.
Trustee Hernandez?
Abstain.
Abstain? Thank you. Trustee Hoffman?
Yes.
Trustee Eno? Sorry, I'm just thinking about everything that was said. Yes. Yes, okay. Trustee Vella?
Yes.
Trustee Vettis?
Abstain.
Thank you. I'm sorry?
Abstain.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, colleagues. Is that all we need to do? Okay. Okay, so now on to facilities items. May I have a motion and a second to adopt facilities items X1 through X16?
So moved.
Moved by Vella. Second by Henderson. Roll call, please.
Student trustee Bayham's advisory vote?
Yes.
Trustee Boulna?
Yes.
Trustee Henderson?
Yes.
Trustee Hernandez?
Abstain.
Trustee Hoffman?
Yes.
Trustee Eno?
Yes.
Trustee Vella?
Yes.
Trustee Vettis?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, colleagues. And now, before we proceed to vote on the next two action items, I will read the following language for the record, and it's a lot. Pursuant to Government Code Section 54953C3, which is part of the Brown Act, we are required to make an oral summary of proposed action on the salary schedules, or compensation paid in the form of fringe benefits for all executive level positions as defined in subdivision D of Government Code Section 3511.1 during the open meeting in which final action is to be taken. In our case, we need to provide such summary for positions such as chancellor, the vice chancellors, and the college presidents. The item now before us is to approve the contract of employment for Dr. Alberto J. Ramon to serve as interim chancellor of the Los Angeles Community College District effective November 7th, 2024 through November 6th, 2025, with a salary of $33,333.33 per month, which is $400,000 annually. Dr. Ramon will be entitled to any salary increases given to other unrepresented academic employees and health and welfare benefits available to district employees under the district's Joint Labor Management Benefits Committee Master Agreement, including but not limited to the same retiree health insurance benefits and the same holiday, vacation, illness leaves of absence available to other unrepresented academic employees. Dr. Ramon will receive the $500 per month transportation allowance consistent with other executives and college presidents at LACCD and will retain his career increment equal to $387.48 per month. Dr. Ramon shall not be entitled to any other salary differentials. May I have a motion and a second?
I move
on
to
this
approve.
item?
Move to approve Dr. Ramon as our interim chancellor.
Thank you so much. Moved by Hoffman,
Second.
second by Eno. Roll call, please.
Student trustee Bayham's advisory vote. Absent. Trustee Boulna.
Yes.
Trustee Henderson.
Yes.
Trustee Hernandez.
Yes.
Trustee Hoffman.
Yes.
Trustee Eno.
Yes.
Trustee Vella.
Yes.
Trustee Vettis.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, colleagues. Congratulations, Dr. Ramon. Would you like to say anything? Well, since your name has been called at least 20 times during this meeting.
Well, from a kid from Mexico who came to the States at the age of 9 and being in this role effective today, nothing I could have ever dreamed. Trustees, I'm honored and humbled by this opportunity to be your interim chancellor as you search for your new permanent chancellor. Thank you so much for the vote of confidence. I'm looking forward to working with all of you, first and foremost, for the interests of our students. And I felt the love today. Thank you from all of our stakeholders, our labor groups, our executive team, our classified staff, our faculty. I'm really looking forward to moving the district forward. The chancellor over the last 10 years laid a wonderful foundation, and I wanted to continue to build upon the great work that's happening here. Clearly, we have our work cut out, but I'm up for the challenge and ready to serve this district the way the district deserves to be served. And again, first and foremost, on behalf of every single one of the students that we serve. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you. Before I move on to the next item, does you want to make any comments before we move on to the next item? All right, congratulations. So next up, the next item is to approve the contract of employment for Dr. Monte E. Perez as interim college president of East Los Angeles College, effective November 7th, 2024 to June 30, 2025. Dr. Perez's salary would be step 5 at $26,895.95 per month of the vice chancellor and college president's salary schedule, and will be entitled to the same health and welfare benefits as are received by other unrepresented administrators, including retiree health benefits. Dr. Perez will receive the $500 per month car allowance and is eligible to receive the same salary increases, career increment, and doctoral differential as other unrepresented administrators. Colleagues, may I have a motion and a second on this item?
So moved.
Moved by Eno, second by Henderson. Roll call, please.
Student trustee Bayham's advisory vote,
Yes.
trustee Boulna, trustee Henderson,
Yes.
trustee Hernandez,
Yes.
trustee Hoffman, absent, trustee Eno,
Welcome back. Yes.
trustee Vella,
Yes.
trustee Vettis.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, colleagues. And now on, oh, I'm sorry. Dr. Perez, would you like to come and grace us with a few words?
Trustees, appreciate the invitation to say a few words. I'm this young kid born and raised in East LA. And went on to Garfield High School in Cal State LA, and I lived across the freeway from Cal State LA all my life till I went on to other things. It is an honor and a privilege to come back to my family, LACCD. And yes, we're ready for the challenge. ELAC is a great institution. LACCD is a great institution. I am so enthused to be at home with all my colleagues. We will serve our students, we will grow, and we will advance. And the faculty and staff and students have been so welcoming already. So I appreciate that. And I appreciate Dr. Roman's leadership and friendship and the Board of Trustees' confidence in me. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Any comments? Dr. Perez? Thank you and congratulations. Okay, colleagues, now on to item Z, notice, reports, and informatives. There is one informative and 7 notices. No action is required at this time. Mr. Prieto, you will provide a report on items Z7 and 8.
That is correct, Madam President. I'm going to read these into the record. I will then give them to Ms. Orozco so that she can have those also for your reference. The first matter is on November 23rd, I'm going to read the summary. November 7, 2023, pursuant to Board Policy 6410, a complaint was filed with the Internal Audit Office, which was related to the conduct of former employees, employee number 1047152, employee number 1070599, and employee number 1014172, and employee number 1055258. In accordance with Board Policy 6410, the complaint was later forwarded to the Office of General Counsel for handling. On December 1st, 2023, Ms. Seema Salik was assigned to assess the complaint filed. The allegations presented stated 1, that employee number 1055258 was improperly paid off, quote unquote, in exchange for his departure from the district with a full release of potential claims. And 2, that employee number 1047152 knew an investigation involving employee number 1055258 in his conduct, and the potential purchase of his son's merchandise was quote unquote compromised, and would be competent in effectuating the employee's release and settlement. After interviewing witnesses and reviewing the relevant documentation regarding the matter, Ms. Salik determined that the complaint's allegations were unsubstantiated. It did not constitute, quote unquote, illegal orders or improper government activity as defined by Board Policy 6410. As a result of the lack of substantiation of these allegations, the Office of General Counsel now closes its file on this matter. That is the first item. The second item is, I will also read into the record. On January 18, 2024, pursuant to Board Policy 6410, a complaint was filed with the Office of General Counsel related to the allegations related to the following. 1, former employee number 1047152 engaged in improper communications without legal counsel present. 2, former employee number 1047152 improperly continued to pay the salary of a terminated employee, employee number 1047152, and dismissed legal advice given to him when notified of a discrimination complaint filed by the terminated employee. And 4, the improper disclosure of privileged information by a member of the quote-unquote whistleblower committee identified in Board Policy 6410. Ms. Seema Salik again was assigned to investigate these allegations on March the 18th, 2024. As a result of interviewing witnesses and reviewing relevant documentation, Ms. Selig determined that the allegations were unsubstantiated and did not constitute, again, quote unquote, illegal orders or improper government activity, unquote, as defined by Board Policy 6410. As a result of the lack of substantiation of these allegations, the Office of General now closes its file on this matter. I would note that both of these matters are subject to pending litigation, and wanted to make that note for the record as well.
So, colleagues, any questions? Well, I have questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Why was the board not informed about these complaints? 1, when were the complaints filed? 2, who conducted the investigation?
So as I indicated in the record, the complaints, I read into the record when the complaints were filed, and when they were assigned to Ms. Seema Selig, who was assigned to do the investigations.
So was there no obligation to inform the board?
That I would provide you information in terms of that.
Okay.
But answer to your 2 questions were read into the record relative to when they were filed, when they were assigned, and when she reached her conclusions.
No question?
Thank you, Madam President.
Okay. Thank you. So now we're move on to item AA. Would any of my colleagues like to make any announcements or indicate future proposed actions for the board?
I would. Go ahead. Last meeting, we had the student trustee stipend increase informative. So that should have actually been on this agenda. For whatever reason, it was omitted from this agenda, but for next meeting, it should be added as an action item.
Well, when the item was brought before the board for a vote, you, the student trustee, stated you did not want the stipend. No, you did. You said, and I quote, an additional $500 to $1,000 increase in my salary will not make a difference because I have big girl bills. So this salary increase amounts to a total of $250. So the board elected to not address it at that time. Now, if there's interest by the board to bring it back at some point, then we will.
Does it constitute, is the increase, is it constituted by need or by value?
Neither.
Well, then
the $750 was on the agenda that you stated that you did not need.
So are you, is the COLA, is the cost of living adjustment given because of need or value? Because the regular board of trustees get $2,000 a month. Do you need it?
I can't speak for anybody else's income.
What I'm asking you, do you need it? If not, then the student trustee should get it because of value.
And I state again, you stated that you did not need it. So I'm not going to argue the point with you.
Right, but we're not talking
about. So
this
will at some point be brought back so that the student trustee will have an increase in salary. You said that you did not need this salary.
$250.
Therefore,
a $250 increase is not enough.
Okay.
It's not.
Yes, go ahead.
I believe the agenda item was regard to future items. I'm not sure why the student engaging in conversation.
She would like for this to be a future item. Any other?
Nope.
Okay,
nothing.
so on to item BB. The First Amendment and the Brown Act guarantee a member of the public the right to criticize a public employee or public official in the performance of their duties. However, speakers are encouraged to focus their comments or on issues relevant to the conduct of the public's business rather than on private or unrelated matters. Speakers are reminded that the Brown Act and First Amendment do not protect defamatory statements made, which may subject the speaker to personal liability. Right now, we have one speaker, Mr. Rolando Cuevas.
Jeffrey, can I ask you a quick question? On that first report that you were talking about, that was that famous report that we all saw. You see, that's a perfect example of what I'm talking about, Jeffrey, about your department and some of your people, the way they play games and they weaponize your department. Because you could call me afterwards and we could have a off-the-record conversation because I was involved with that. So one report, two report, and a third report to clear up the bullshit that these people have been doing for the last 10 years. I was surprised that they came back with a report for that issue. Okay, so I would love to talk to you off the record. Don't let Steve intimidate you and say, don't talk to him, because this is an issue that I don't want to talk in public because it could jeopardize some people. But I want to say one thing. I want to thank David, Andrea, for the first time for doing the right thing and stopping that bullshit that they try to pull with that 180. You're absolutely right. That's the kind of stuff that needs to stop too, Jeffrey. That's what I come to tell this board. They come and put stuff on that agenda, keeping these poor people blind. They're voting. Thank God David was awake today. And I'm going to commend you that, David, for that. Okay. I want to commend you, Andrea. I'll criticize you when you deserve it, and I'll give you credit when you earn it. Okay. And today you're absolutely right. And that's the problem with this district, with the people behind us, the way they keep all of you guys blind. These are not your friends. If they were your friends, they wouldn't be embarrassing you in public. It wouldn't have to take a trustee to be awake to stop that. They were going to give $180,000 away, just like that. Okay, think for a second. Kelsey, why you hesitated to vote? Beyond me. Steve, beyond me. Sarah, beyond me. What's wrong is wrong and what's right is right. God damn. Have a great day. But Jeffrey, I'd like to talk to you about that for 3 minutes. Okay, because you need to know, because you haven't been here, and these legal counsel people have been out of control.
Are you using your 3 minutes to talk to Mr. Prieta?
I'm talking to the public, babe. Sorry. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
No, because I figured out what they were talking about. I couldn't figure it out at first. And once I heard Jeffrey's presentation, I said, damn it. For the record, you should find out how much they spend on that report. They didn't have to spend, because remember, there was a first report, then there was a second opinion, and that was the third opinion to exonerate once again.
Thank you. Madam Board Secretary, do we have anyone to speak for closed session? Okay, thank you. So now the board will recess to closed session in accordance with the Ralph M. Brown Act, Government Code Sections 54950, and the Education Code to discuss the matters on the posted closed session agenda pursuant to Government Code Section 54954.5. May I have a motion and a second? Motion made.
Second.
Motion made by Buelna, second by Eno.
Did I reach out to you?